viewers, welcome to our technical channel Ganesh Piping. Before we start this video, I insist you to subscribe our channel, like and comment our videos. This is your channel, so support us by subscribing it and also request you to help us by donating for this noble cause of education. We have given our UPI link, so it is a voluntarily contribution, and the same funds will be utilized for production of these videos, video editing cost. So thank you. And now we will start with this video. This is a continuation of the renewable energy series which we have seen last time. This is the part 2, and in this episode we are going to discuss the biofuels. Biofuels basically are produced from renewable biological resources such as agricultural crops, treated domestic or industrial waste, and biomass. Agricultural crops, as we know, rice, wheat, bajri, jowari, and many more. So, in that, whatever is the food grain that is constitutes to be 10% of that crop, and remaining is the we can say that it is a residue. So it is basically used for the cattles, for the food of the cattles, or in some cases it is simply burnt off. So now here we can utilize it for the production of biofuels, so that we will see how it is. So first we will discuss about the why there is a requirement of biofuel. So basically these are the major four reasons or four purposes for why we should switch over to the biofuel from the conventional one. First and foremost important is that this is the renewable energy. Renewable energy in the sense, by nature itself, we get the raw material, that is the feedstock for biofuels. We get a renewable source from the nature itself. So energy security is the most and primary important point for the reason why we should switch over to the biofuel. Second is to decrease the greenhouse gas emission, which is produced out of the crude oil refining and several other streams of chemicals which are mixed up, which have to be blended with the crude oil. So in the production of all these hydrocarbons, lot of greenhouse effect and carbon footprint is left out on this environment. Secondly, a third and most important point is that it promotes the rural development. If we consider the today's economic model, which is not perfect, as far as this is my opinion, because whatever economic uh, business units that are considered, or whatever we say that the productive units which are considered, are focused or concentrated in the cities, whereas the rural development or the shifting of these economic centers to the rural, if we see in India, ancient India, or even 200 years before, when before the British took over the India and colonize it, it was basically economic centers were focused in the rural areas. So now with this biofuel, the same model can be revived, self-sufficient villages and the rural development. So that is very important with the switching over to the biofuels. So this is the most important part of this entire video, how the biofuels are classified. First generation biofuel, second generation biofuel, and third generation biofuel. What actually it means? First generation biofuel we can see made from sugar, starch and vegetable oil. Second generation biofuels are made from either from the non-edible plant material or some non-edible plant materials are those materials which are not the food crops but the agricultural land is required for growing these food crops, or even if the agricultural land is not required, we get the grasses, the bamboo like vegetation. So all these can be utilized for making the second generation biofuels. And the third generation biofuel is made from the algae and microbes. So why these three generations are there? Firstly, we have to see that for the first generation of biofuel, there is a competition between the food food production and the energy production. There is a competition. Like for example, we can see here that the sugar canes are required for manufacturing. So whatever is the extract from the sugar cane that is converted into the ethanol for production of ethanol. Then the corn, maize, these sugar beets, they are utilized for making the ethanol and other types of biofuels. Basically, it is the ethanol. And vegetable oils also, they are utilized for making the biodiesel. So what happens? There is a cutoff in the production of food, which is required for the sustenance of life, because food production is the basic necessity of the humankind. So without food, we cannot survive. So whenever we produce energy from that food production, there is a shortage of food production. So that is why this is the not so preferred option for production of biofuels. So that is why the second generation of biofuel was invented. But in second generation of biofuel, there is a problem associated with these food supplies or the food production, because whatever land that is available on this earth for agriculture, that has a finite value, that is not infinite. So a portion of that land has to be required, has to be occupied for getting the feedstock, raw material for the biofuels. That is the second generation biofuels, which are not the food products, which are not the food grains, but still for the biofuels, they are the occupying the land area of that agricultural land. So that is also an indirect competition to the food production. So that is why third generation of the biofuels are the most preferred one, but they are basically into experimental stage. So in this third generation of biofuels, basically the algae and microbes are used, and these products, these plants can be grown at in wells, in lakes, in streams, near to the railway lines also, whatever space that is available, whatever free land that is available, which is a non-agricultural land also, that can be utilized for this third generation biofuels, third generation, and even up to some extent to the second generation biofuels. So now coming to the different types of biofuels. First one is the bioethanol. We have seen that the sugar cane, rice bran, and all these types of products, all these types of food grains are food products are basically the raw material for production of bioethanol. Then biodiesel is produced from vegetable oils by the trans esterification process. So this again, the vegetable oils is in competition with the food supplies. So that is why nowadays there is one more raw material which is the most preferred in India. That is the Zatropa plant. This Zatropa plant is a kind of a weed. It grows anywhere. It grows anywhere, and the seeds of that Zatropa plant basically are crushed, and and then the oil that is available, that is filtered, and we get further that oil has to be treated, and from that we get the biodiesel. Then biogas is basically the gobar gas. If we have the cattle's dung, poultry, the cattle dung and the poultry uh, waste, for from that we can make the biogas. Of course, biogas has a low calorific value as compared to the LPG. There are several reasons for that. We will not go into that. Then the syngas, that is a synthetic gas. It is a shortcut. So syngas is basically prepared from the bio waste, biological waste like wood, pieces of wood, uh, then the grass, weeds, weeds inside the ponds. So all these from that there are processes by which we make the syngas, and then the pyrolysis bio oil. So pyrolysis bio-oil also, for that we are going to see these are all the oils which are utilized. This pyrolysis bio-oil that is used for either further for the production of biodiesel, or it can be directly used as fuel oil for the ship engines. So now moving forward, this is the production process for biomass to the biofuel. So biomass is wood, agricultural waste, animal waste, municipal waste, oil seed crops, algae, etc. So second generation of the biofuels, one more important point which I missed out is that whatever the agricultural waste, that is actually the food for the cattles. So that is also a very big competition, food competition with the cattles, food competition for the cattles. That means if we utilize that whatever is the agricultural waste for production of biofuels, then there will be a shortage of food for the cattles. So that is also most important point. So to summarize that, the first generation biofuels create a competition, food competition for the humans, as well as the second generation biofuel creates the food competition for the cattles, because whatever is the agricultural waste that is utilized for the cattle food, and there is a the shortage for that. So that is why we third generation biofuel is the most preferred option. So now coming to the production processes of the biomass to biofuel process, there are three different types we can see here. Direct burning, that is, if we burn them directly, we will get the heat energy. And it was the most preferred one till date, and even in rural areas, still it is there. Second one is the decomposition. Decomposition means the biogas plants are there. If we use the cattle dung, it is called gobar gas in India. And agricultural waste, human waste is also there. Human excreta is also there. In some cases, in biogas plants, the uh, sewage treatment plant actually is also connected to that in some cities. From that we get the methane gas, and the methane gas can be utilized for several other purposes, for electricity, as a fuel for transportation also. And the third one is the conversion to liquid or gas. Here there are two ways: deconstruction and fermentation. Fermentation process, we have seen that the corn sugar can extract, that is directly, but this is a second generation biofuel or a first generation biofuel. So through the process of fermentation, we get the ethanol, and that ethanol can be utilized and blended with the petrol, conventional petrol, uh, 10 to 20%, and in some cases 100% also it is utilized. But for that, if we go for 100% ethanol, then there has to be some changes in the thermodynamic cycles of those engine, and the entire engine has to be replaced. Then the deconstruction part, here we have high temperature deconstruction and low temperature deconstruction. In high temperature deconstruction, there are three again. One is the gasification, pyrolysis, and hydrothermal liquefaction. So in high temperature deconstruction, gasification, we get the hydrogen gas and some other products also. And that hydrogen gas is utilized as a fuel. Then in the second case, pyrolysis, we get, and hydrothermal liquefaction, we get the biocharcoal and the bio oil. This biocharcoal is like your coal, and it can be utilized for cooking purpose. It can be directly burned in the earth, the furnace for cooking purpose, or it can be utilized for power generation also. The biofuels, again, they are the biodiesel and all that can be produced from that. And the low temperature deconstruction, that is the hydrolysis, and the fuels and chemicals are then again, that is the final finished product. So again, synthetic synthesis and upgrading, we get the biopetrol, and the ethanol, of course, is also there. So this is the entire overview of the biofuels. We are keen to listen to your comments. We are keen to read to your comments. We want to know how you like this video, and also keep us supporting our channel by subscribing it. This is once again, I would like to remind, and also help us by contributing to our UPI IDs, which are shared in description of this video. So thank you once again, and keep updating us about the new ideas and new topics for the further videos. Thank you once again, and have a fantastic day ahead.